Welcome to the CLA Builders Podcast.
Glad to be here for this one.
If you've been staring at your walls lately and wondering what it would actually take to finally open up that cramped living room.
Maybe you're prepping to buy a fixer-upper out here in Southern California.
Right, exactly. You are definitely in the right place.
Oh.
Today, we are taking a really hard look at the reality of real estate renovation.
It's a deep dive that I think a lot of people need right now.
Oh, absolutely. We're pulling our insights today from two really key sources. The newly released 2026 Los Angeles Home Remodel Cost Guide,
Which is just packed with data.
and the official service and background documents from CLA Builders. They are a premier general contractor operating right here in LA.
It's a really great combination of materials to dig into. I mean, one source gives us the raw, unfiltered data on what things actually cost in this specific market right
It's
now.
the real numbers.
Right. And the other provides a practical blueprint for how these massive, complex projects are actually executed on the ground.
When you put them together, you get a very clear picture of the current remodeling landscape.
You really do.
Though I do have to warn you, looking at LA renovation numbers can induce a bit of a panic response.
Just a little bit.
I mean, we are talking about a market where you might drop over $1 million just to buy a 1,000-square-foot house that hasn't been updated since 1972.
Yeah, and then adding renovation costs on top of that is daunting.
It is. But our goal today isn't to scare you off. It's to prepare you.
Because information is the best antidote to overwhelm. The anxiety around remodeling usually comes from the unknown.
Like the fear of a contractor handing you a surprise bill for $50,000 halfway through the job.
Exactly. When you understand the baseline numbers and the mechanics of how a build actually works, you make decisions from a place of strategy rather than a place of panic.
Okay, let's unpack this. Starting with the baseline numbers from that 2026 cost guide. The headline figure here is that a full home remodel in Los Angeles is typically running about $300 per square foot.
That's the big number right there.
Yeah. And when we look at total project estimates for a full home renovation, the guide ranges wildly, from $100,000 all the way up to $300,000.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it becomes clear why those numbers feel so heavy, but also why they are realistic.
Right.
The guide points to material and labor costs as the main drivers. But we need to elevate that insight. In Los Angeles, you aren't just paying for basic labor.
You're paying for highly specialized labor.
Precisely. Because of strict local zoning and environmental codes, you aren't just paying someone to swing a hammer. You are paying for professionals who know how to navigate things like Title 24 energy compliance.
And the local seismic codes.
Exactly. That specialized knowledge is baked into that $300 a square foot.
That makes total sense. It's the expertise, not just the physical work. But let's look at that range again. $100,000 to $300,000 is a massive gap.
It is.
Now, the guide does mention, if you're just doing a mid-range remodel, those costs might sit between $50,000 and $100,000 depending on the scope.
Yeah.
What actually differentiates a $50,000 job from a $300,000 job?
It really comes down to the scope and the structural integrity of the house itself.
Yeah.
A mid-range remodel usually means keeping the existing footprint.
So no moving walls.
Right. You are updating floors or painting, maybe swapping out kitchen cabinets, but you aren't moving plumbing stacks or tearing down load-bearing walls.
I doubt it.
A full home remodel pushing toward that $300,000 mark means you are likely taking rooms completely down to the studs.
Wow.
You are rewiring the electrical grid, replacing the HVAC system, and completely reimagining the floor plan.
So if you have that 1,000-square-foot LA fixer-upper
Yeah.
and you want to gut it completely, you immediately know you're looking at roughly a $300,000 investment.
Yes. And understanding that helps you avoid project paralysis. You set a realistic starting line before you ever call an architect.
Let's move into the specific rooms that eat up the lion's share of that budget. The heavy hitters. I'm looking at the kitchen numbers in this guide.
A heart of the home.
Yeah, and it states a full kitchen remodel in 2026 LA runs between $30,000 and $100,000. Wait, $100,000 for a kitchen.
It happens faster than you think.
What are people putting in their solid gold sinks? How does a kitchen cost as much as a luxury car?
What's fascinating here is how quickly the hidden mechanics of a kitchen drive up the price. It's rarely the countertops that break the bank. It's the infrastructure.
The stuff behind the walls.
Exactly. Let's say you want to move your sink to a new kitchen island. You aren't just paying for the island. You are paying a plumber to trench through your concrete slab foundation to run new water and drain lines.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you are paying an electrician to run new circuits because your fancy new induction stove requires a massive power draw.
A draw that your old 1980s electrical panel just cannot handle.
Right.
So the moment you decide to fundamentally alter the layout, you are opening a very expensive can of worms.
Precisely. And then you add the custom elements. I mean, prefabricated cabinets are one price, but custom-built ceiling height cabinetry designed specifically to fit the quirky dimensions of an older LA home.
That requires specialized carpentry.
Yes. Add in high-end luxury appliances that integrate into the woodwork, and that $100,000 threshold gets crossed very quickly. The sky is really the limit for luxury kitchens.
And the data for bathrooms tells a very similar story. Bathrooms typically run between $10,000 and $30,000, but luxury bathroom projects can quickly reach $50,000 or more.
And again, it's about the wet wall infrastructure.
Right.
If you convert a standard fiberglass tub into a massive custom-tiled walk-in steam shower with multiple shower heads, you are overhauling the plumbing footprint.
Upgrading the water heater to handle the demand.
And paying for intricate, time-consuming custom tile labor, this data really encourages you to evaluate your daily lifestyle.
How so?
Well, if you are a passionate home chef who spends hours cooking, maybe you allocate a massive chunk of your budget to that custom kitchen. But you choose to just do a surface-level update on the guest bathroom to keep costs down.
You think about where you want to allocate the budget based on your actual lifestyle, not just making everything look like a magazine cover.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of infrastructure, here's where it gets really interesting. We have to talk about the hidden iceberg of remodeling.
The hidden costs.
Yeah, it's so easy to fixate on the shiny finishes, the countertops, the custom tiles, but it's really about what's behind the walls. The 2026 Cost Guide dedicates significant real estate to these additional unforeseen costs.
This is the territory where remodeling nightmares are born if you aren't prepared.
We've all heard the horror stories. Someone decides to knock down a wall to open up their living room. The contractor opens up the drywall, and suddenly they find extensive termite damage.
Or black mold.
Or 1940s knob and tube wiring that constitutes a massive fire hazard.
And suddenly the homeowner is washing their dishes in the bathtub for 6 months because the budget evaporated into fixing what was behind the walls.
Right. The guide lists structural work like foundation repairs as a major hidden expense. Along with unforeseen issues during demo, the cost of permits and final finishes like paint and trim.
And we also have to factor in the LA element. Renovating in Los Angeles comes with unique hurdles. The building codes and the diverse, unique architectural styles prevalent here directly impact those overall cost ranges.
Can you give an example of that LA factor?
Sure. You might discover that to get a permit for your new room addition, the city requires you to do a seismic retrofit on your existing foundation, just to bring it up to modern earthquake codes.
Wow.
That is a massive line item that most homers never even consider when they are picking out paint swatches.
Let's talk about those permits, actually.
Yeah.
The guide lists pulling permits is a notable expense. But it's not just the fee you pay the city, right? It's the whole process.
The process in Los Angeles is notoriously labyrinthine. The building codes, the diverse architectural zoning laws, the environmental impact reports, it is a full-time job to manage.
I've heard people have to hire expediters just to get through it.
Many do. For those who haven't dealt with city planning, an expediter is basically a professional red tape cutter.
That's a great way to put it.
They are specialized consultants you hire for the sole purpose of physically walking your blueprints through the various city departments, just to get them approved before you die of old age.
Which is another hidden cost. You have to pay someone just to get the government to let you spend your own money on your own house. It's wild.
It is. And it's why the guide stresses the absolute necessity of budget flexibility. You have to go into a remodel assuming that unforeseen changes will happen.
The lesson here is having that flexibility turns a potential disaster into just a manageable bump in the road.
Exactly. If you build a 15 to 20% contingency fund into your initial planning, finding an old leaky pipe behind a wall is just a frustrating Tuesday.
But if you don't have that contingency, finding that pipe brings the entire project to a grinding, stressful halt.
You lose all your momentum.
So what does this all mean? For a listener looking to actually start a project, how do you move forward without losing your mind?
It's all about finding the right team.
Right. Looking at our sources, the answer heavily points to mitigating risk by choosing a highly structured team that can navigate these complex LA variables. This brings us to the documents from Cala builders.
Their license number is hashtag 1032013, by the way. Having a verifiable license in California is the absolute bare minimum non-negotiable starting point.
Definitely. According to their background files, they are a full-service construction and remodeling company. They specialize in high-end residential and commercial projects.
And their service area covers a massive chunk of the region. Los Angeles, Pasadena, the San Fernando Valley, Santa Monica, and well beyond.
But the key term that jumps out over and over their materials is design build.
The design-build model is critical to understand if you want to avoid the nightmare scenarios we covered earlier.
Break that down for us. Why is it an advantage?
Traditionally, remodeling is a disjointed process. You hire an architect. You pay them to draw up a beautiful, intricate set of plans for your dream house. Then you take those plans to a completely separate general contractor.
And the contractor looks at the plans, laughs, and tells you it is completely impossible to build that design with your current budget.
Exactly. So then you have to pay the architect again to redraw the plans, which delays the project. And meanwhile, you are stuck in the middle trying to translate between two professionals who aren't on the same page.
That sounds incredibly stressful.
That is the traditional friction. The design-build model inherently solves this. Cala combines the architectural planning, the 3D design, rendering, the permitting, and the actual construction all under one single roof.
So the architect and the builder are on the exact same team from day one.
Yes. They can look at an initial sketch, and the builder can immediately say, hey, if we move that load-bearing wall, it's going to require a steel beam that blows the budget. Let's redesign it this way instead.
That makes a lot of sense. It ensures streamlined communication and faster timelines.
And most importantly, crucial budget control. There is a unified vision and immediate accountability. If something goes wrong, there is no finger pointing between the design firm and the construction crew because they are the same entity.
I noticed their documents also emphasize the use of 3D design rendering,
which is a fantastic tool for homeowners. It allows you to virtually walk through the space before a single hammer is swung.
which cuts down on those expensive mid-project changes where a client realizes they actually hate where a window was placed.
Right. It's a game changer.
Looking at the sheer scope of what Cala handles, it's impressive. They aren't just swapping out countertops. Their materials explicitly mention custom luxury new homes and tricky hillside construction.
Building on a slant in Los Angeles is a completely different universe than building on a flat lot in the suburbs.
I can imagine.
Hillside building requires staggering engineering. You are dealing with soil stability reports, caissons driven deep into the bedrock, massive retaining walls, and incredibly strict water runoff regulations.
So if a contractor doesn't have specific proven expertise there, it's a huge risk.
A minor mistake can literally result in the house sliding down the mountain during the next heavy rainstorm. The fact that Cala features this prominently indicates a very high level of technical proficiency.
They also handle entire home interior remodeling. But I want to pivot to another major service they highlight, ADU construction, accessory dwelling units.
Oh, yes.
They cover garage conversions, detached ADUs, attached ADUs, and room additions. Given the massive push for housing density in California right now, this is incredibly relevant.
ADUs are the gold rush of Los Angeles real estate right now. Homeowners are building them for rental income or to house aging parents or adult children.
But the state regulations can still be trickier.
Well, the state has loosened some regulations to encourage building them, but local city municipalities still make the permitting process incredibly difficult.
There are strict rules about setbacks from the property line and parking requirements.
And utility hookups. Having a design-build firm that manages both the architectural plans and the physical build is a massive asset when navigating that specific red tape.
It's essentially treating a backyard shed like a full-scale micro-home build. And speaking of backyards, Cala's documents show they don't stop at the walls of the house. They operate a whole division dedicated to outdoor space construction.
Which is essential for the Southern California market.
Right. We're talking custom swimming pools, waterfalls, built-in BBQs, concrete pavers.
The climate dictates that outdoor living spaces are utilized just as heavily as the indoor spaces. Treating the exterior with the same design-build rigor as the interior ensures a seamless flow.
And beyond residential, they even handle commercial tenant improvements, office and restaurant construction, retail buildings. And they function as commercial ADA contractors.
In the commercial space, ADA compliance is intensely scrutinized and heavily litigated.
That's the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Yes. The slope of a ramp, the height of a grab bar, the turning radius in a restroom.
These are measured down to the fraction of an inch.
Exactly. A contractor trusted to execute commercial ADA compliance demonstrates a meticulous, hyper-organized operation. If they can handle that level of commercial scrutiny, managing a residential kitchen remodel is well within their wheelhouse.
It really paints a picture of a robust, deeply experienced team. So to bring this all together and synthesize our deep dive today, remodeling your home in Los Angeles in 2026 is an undeniably massive undertaking.
It really is.
With a full remodel averaging between $100,000, $300,000, and $300 per square foot being the baseline reality, it is a major financial commitment.
But, as the cost guide points out, when executed correctly, it adds substantial long-term property value.
Definitely. The overarching takeaway from both of our sources is that navigating the permits, the hidden costs, and the complex engineering of LA real estate requires mitigating your risk.
Partnering with an experienced, luxury-focused team like Cala Builders, who prioritize quality integrity and transparent project management, takes the guesswork out of the process. This raises an important question for anyone embarking on this journey.
What's that?
While protecting your budget is undeniably paramount, you have to weigh the cost of the labor against the value of the management. The true value of working with fully licensed craftsmen who utilize a design-build model is that they manage your project seamlessly from the very first architectural sketch to the final city walkthrough.
It transforms the experience from a fragmented, highly stressful series of gambles into a cohesive, expertly guided investment.
You really can't overstate the value of that.
Which leaves us with one final lingering thought for you to ponder as you look around your own space today. We've talked extensively about the hard costs, right? The lumber, the custom cabinets, the plumbing.
The physical things you buy.
Right. But if the design-build model inherently reduces the friction between architects, city permit offices, and construction crews,
Which it does.
how much of your remodeling budget is actually just the price of avoiding decision fatigue and protecting your peace of mind?
That is a great point.
Something for you to explore on your own.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.